We do want to get over to News Nation's Joe Khalil now, live outside of the House where the hearing just took place. Joe, what are you hearing now on the ground?
Well, what we heard was that a lot of people saw this today as a historic moment, one that was a watershed moment. And what they meant by that, as people were coming out, is that they feel like the hearing today did more to sort of break down barriers, the very real barriers that existed around having this discussion at all. It wouldn't have been that long ago that if you brought up UFOs or UAPs in this building, you might have gotten laughed at. And several members of Congress sort of made that point today. But as Brian referenced, this wasn't, conspiracy theory type things. You had three people who were very credible witnesses today talking about things they had seen, talking about things that they had heard, many firsthand accounts. And you had members of Congress genuinely curious and asking questions, wanting to learn more. And we're told that there is going to be a lot more coming up after this hearing, things like field hearings moving forward. And as you guys mentioned, wanting to get David Grush into the SCIF, those rooms that are private here in the Capitol building where you don't have cell phones. These are private conversations meant for classified material so that members of Congress can learn more. Now, there were some things that David Grush today couldn't elaborate on, couldn't talk about more, and those points were really interesting. There was a consensus that, yes, whatever these things are, very well could be threats to national security and to public safety, and along those lines, there were some questions that he could answer a little bit, not completely. I want to play for you one of those moments.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
So very interesting there, and it's a wonder whether we're going to get answers to those questions anytime soon. Certainly Congress wants answers to some of those questions more directly as well. And Natasha, I think the other thing that we were left with as people were coming out of this hearing was that there have been people who have been for years following these stories and following this type of coverage. And they felt like today was sort of a culmination of years of their work. Again, sort of validation and the sense that we are hitting what today was a historic moment in the conversation about this. They're hoping that today, I'm told in one person's words, breaks the door open and that more people come forward, that there isn't this sort of stigma around many pilots who have witnessed things like UAPs in the air but simply don't want to come forward. They think that what was said today in that hearing room is going to go a long way in alleviating some people's fears in that sense.